My boyfriend and I met through my ex, and when we broke up I got into a relationship with him. I love him so much, and he's amazing. I was in a relationship with my ex for nearly 5 years and we lived together. I've been with my new boyfriend for 6 months and still am struggling to get my things out of my old apartment. My ex locks the door, which he never used to do because he lost both our house keys, and every time I offer to lift my things he says he's not in. And when he's ready for me to lift my things it's uncomfortable because he asks for me to stay a while and chat, so I turn him down when he offers this. I've even suggested he leaves my things in a box outside the door. My new boyfriend, from the very beginning, wanted me to cut contact completely, but I thought I was doing the right thing by limiting contact and keeping niceties to ensure nothing would blow up and I could get my stuff. I don't care about most of my clothes, but I have jewelry and stuffed animals I really treasure still there that he refuses to hand over. Last night, my boyfriend and I were having sex and he went through my phone. Saw that I was still in contact with my ex, but I had nothing to hide, so I let him into my phone and didn't mind. He immediately broke up with me, packed my things, I flew over to visit him for a few days, and returned the Christmas gifts I gave him by throwing them on the bed. He told me I'd never be coming back, so I tried to change my flight from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. and called around to get a last-minute taxi. Sobbed and sobbed in the spare room. He came in, I explained why I kept in contact, which I have always been transparent about, and he said he loved me and we'd try to work it out. He took me back to our bed and cuddled me, but I was feeling very hurt by his words and sudden breakup, and the intimate time it happened made me embarrassed. I was withdrawn, like I always am when I feel upset. Today I stayed in bed and waited for the time to come where we would leave for my flight. He offered me food and gentle touches, made me coffee. He was so sweet, but I couldn't talk to him much without bawling. So I didn't, and when we arrived at the airport he started sobbing, telling me our relationship would never be the same and he never wanted to see me again. I know I fucked up, but I had nothing to hide. My ex is my ex and I love my new boyfriend beyond anything. And I can't believe I fucked this up by trying to be nice and keep peace. Just how do I move on without feeling like I'm dying? Story 2, how to break up after vacation, 25F, 40M, together for 3 months. My boyfriend, 40M, and I, 25F, took our first trip together, international. Haven't been together very long, only a few months, maybe 3 months on and off, and we never had the "are we dating / are we exclusive" talk. After our week abroad, I noticed some glaring incompatibilities. To name a few. 1. I'm much more active. I would prefer to walk when possible, but he made us wait for the hotel shuttle to take us less than a mile. 2. Not kind to staff, not necessarily rude, but would say okay rather than thank you when a member of the staff would tell us what to go do, where to go, etc. That really bothers me. 3. I'd prefer to do a lot and stay busy, but he spent a lot of time playing games on his phone in the room. 4. Didn't let me walk first through doors or elevators. 5. We got in a small tiff and he was short with me for hours rather than talking about it to get over it and enjoying our vacation. 6. He said some things that go against my parenting beliefs. We don't have children but we both want them. I am very grateful for the trip he took me on. He booked it all, paid / used points, but these things make me feel like we are not compatible. Rather than wasting more of our time, I know I should end things. How do I do this so close to returning home from our trip? How do I make it seem like I wasn't just using him to go on the trip? Story 3, my, 31 meters, girlfriend, 31F, cheated on me at a wedding. Should I give her a second chance? My girlfriend attended a family wedding in another state. There, she claimed she drank too much and was going to the after party. A man who was a close friend of the bride and groom asked if she would like to walk to the after party together. She accepted and walked with him alone. While walking, he planted a kiss on her, which she rebuffed and explained she had a boyfriend. She thought everything was cool and decided to continue with him. However, he did the same thing again, except this time they made out for about a minute before she pushed him away and took an Uber back to the hotel. She flew back home the next day and a few days later she told me about what happened and was transparent about everything. Since it's a wedding, there was plenty of video and photos of the reception, so I combed through all of them to verify her story. I asked her why she thought it was a good idea to walk alone with a guy. She said she didn't think much of it because he was a close family friend of the bride and groom. I then asked her why she continued to walk with this guy even after he had already kissed her. She said that she was naive about his intentions and her being drunk didn't help. Although a lot of alcohol was involved, she says that her actions are inexcusable and she takes full responsibility for what she did. She should have known better and never made the terrible series of decisions that she did. I used to think cheating was black and white. However, I'm having so much trouble processing this. On the one hand, what she did was horrible, but I feel like her confessing immediately and showing remorse should count for something. Frankly speaking, if she hadn't told me I would have never known about this. I am looking for advice on if I should give her a second chance. Does anyone have thoughts or suggestions? Story 4, my unemployed husband, 33M, is pressuring me, 29F, for a baby. I know the answer, but I would like to show my husband I am not crazy. I am 29F, he is 33M. Together 6 years, married 1. Our current life is wonderful and he is a good husband. I'm only highlighting the bad parts so it's not too long, but let's get to the point. I am 100% the breadwinner. I am a teacher. In the 6 years we have been together, he has held a job for 4 months, tried to start his own business, but gave up on month 3 when sales were low, his first and only hurdle. He does not clean or cook at all. He only keeps an eye on our pets during the day and he drives me around to do errands twice a week. This is his level of contribution, but I love him, appreciate him, and I don't require more from him for US. I give him spending money every month and currently my salary allows us to live semi-comfortably. He spends his days playing games or on his hobby, which he's spending more time on games as his eating habits are bad and he's 5 feet 7 inches and 350 pounds. He's sick a lot because of it and I take care of him during those bouts. At least 1 week out of a month he is ill with gut issues. I clean everything in the home, cook dinner and lunches, do all errands, all pet care etc. and also look after him and takes quite a toll on me. He always wanted kids, I was neutral and he knew this. At the beginning of our relationship, I said I have 2 requirements if we're having kids. 1, have a job, doesn't have to pay much, we need an extra $1,000 for a baby a month and that is all I require him to bring in. 2, marry me. We were engaged for 5 years until I finally said listen, let's just go to the courthouse. Now he's pressuring me to have a baby. He feels his biological clock is ticking and is scared his weight might kill him before he gets a chance to be a father. I met him as a healthy and fit 150 pounds man. He thinks it will be fun and he wants a mini him. Those are his reasons? Ridiculous, I know. I tried to explain to him, he needs to get his act together then, help clean, look after his health and get a job. He thinks I am being unfair and denying him being a father and going back on my word because I said we could have kids, but under conditions, so I did not. Those conditions have always been in place and he knew about them and said that's fair. He is too immature to see how him not doing his part of the deal is denying himself of the child he wants. I'm ready, my shit is in order, his is not. He is an overgrown child, why would I want to add anything more to my plate? I can't trust when he says he'll step up because he hasn't stepped up in 6 years. Surely if this is as important to him as he says, he would get his shit in order like I have. I even offered to pay for his studies, but it takes too long. If he took me up on the offer back then, he would be done by now. I have my life ready and I'm not even the one pushing for it, so why can't he? He cannot even set an alarm. I have to phone him 5 to 6 times by 10 a.m. just so he'll get up and watch the pets and just at least brush his teeth. Am I being unfair? How can I make him see having a child is hectic work and not sunshine and roses 24/7? Edited to add some context. Okay, so I deleted a previous post of mine. My husband steals petty things out of malice, yes, but it's seen as okay in my country. He is 33, 34 was a typo. I live in a country where women have very few rights and are seen as less than and I don't have a support system. Parents passed, no siblings. I don't want to share which country in case people know who I am. Okay, so to answer some questions, I guess you could call this an unhealthy marriage. Even though I dragged him to get married, it is purely because of culture. It's a small subgroup in Africa, like my language only has 30,000 native speakers. I had to be married by 30 to avoid being ostracized. Anyway, when I met him, he was homeless and I only found out 3 months in. 90% of our men are abusive physically and way more emotionally. He is not and hopefully won't be in the future, but it is allowed. So why am I with him? Before him, I was an alcoholic, quite badly. He helped me overcome this and I have been sober for 5.5 years now. Honestly, the fact that he's not abusive is huge for me. Sometimes women here are unalived by their husbands and it's just swept under the rug. GE does odd jobs in his business but it's literally like $50 every 3 months. I have CPTSD and I don't have access to counselors as we have to get approved and marriage counseling is not on the approval list and because resources are scarce here. I qualify for 1x 30-minute therapy session 3x per year for my CPTSD and that's it, with a male counselor. I have CPTSD due to being SA'd. I also have albinism, so in my culture this means I was basically born to a witch. Stupid I know, and I don't get treated the same as everyone else. He treats me with kindness mostly and he listens and 99% I get to make the big decisions. I get to keep pets. I know this is dumb but most women aren't allowed pets and animals are the only beings who have treated me with kindness over my life and I live for my pets. They are my purpose for living. They have always been there for me. I have tried to help him apply for jobs but they never work out. So anyway, the fact that I have non-abusive companionship is huge because I have albinism. No one really sees me as a human being. He does, and if I don't have him, my entire community will ostracize me to the point where I won't integrate with everyone else. He is my ticket to a normal life. I have him for protection against other men too and that makes me feel safe. He lets me enjoy my hobbies. Also unusual for where I am from, and I get to share opinions with him. I am allowed to watch international TV, discuss politics and even further my education because he gives me that permission. If I was with 90% of other men in my culture, this would not be allowed at all, so he affords me a freedom I would not have otherwise, and people have no idea how liberating that bit of freedom is. It's easy to say put your foot down, but given the complexity of culture etc., I don't want to push it so hard that he does turn to abuse to keep me in check one day. I truly don't think he will, but there's always a chance and then I lose myself. I believe Reddit is mostly American, so I understand that people don't relate or can't fathom this is real, but it is. I know allowing someone to have an opinion seems ridiculous to most, but this is my reality and I am thankful that I have that bit of freedom, thanks to my husband who lets me be and allows me to have things like opinions and choices.